What's up? It's me. So we still haven't thought of a name for the video series that we're doing. You know, the Founders Cast maybe is what I suggested last time. It's basically a video series about the raw side of entrepreneurship. What aren't people talking about? I know what people aren't talking about. You know, hustling like a madman, like being totally obsessive about it. What did I say before? Obsessive, I said this thing today. OCHD. Obsessive Compulsive Hustling Disorder. Right? We are obsessively hustling, and you're compulsive about it. So we got to think of a name for the show. So comment in the comment section below if you have an idea, or tweet me at Ryan Critchett if you have an idea of what the show could be named. We're going to be doing a lot of these moving forward. I'm hustling my face off and moving very fast in my business, and there's a lot of content in my brain, and I want to share it with everybody. And I think, you know, entrepreneurship is misconstrued, and there's a lot of things that I think can be changed. You know, and I think people don't really get it. People, especially that aren't hustling as hard or don't understand that they need to market and getting tweeted up their faces off. And I want to change that. I want to help people see the light, if you will. Anyway, so we got to figure out a name. In the meantime, just another video on the Founders blog, me babbling, talking about important stuff. So Kevin O'Leary, Shark Tank, and other things, was saying, I saw in an interview on YouTube, him talking about that you can't have a balance. You know how people say, like, you got to have a balance when it comes to being an entrepreneur? Like, that's how it's going to, you know, you're going to be able to be more effective. And either way, you need that balance of rest and happiness and doing all these other things and then hustling and all that stuff. You need a balance. We said there is no balance. You're not going to make your kids soccer games. You're not going to be able to hang out with your little sister and play with her kitten. You're not going to be able to do those things. You have to hustle your face off all day long. And for 10 years, you're going to be sacrificing everything. And then there's people who say, you know, you can do it with a balance. You can spend way less time working if you're focusing on the impactful things, or way less time working if you're, maybe they don't even bring that part into it. They just say you can spend less time working and that'll recharge you to be more effective when you're working. And then there's the practical position, which I have, which I think is very practical. And here's what I think. I think that you basically do have to sacrifice pretty much everything. You're not going to have the girlfriend. I mean, I was just like in a sort of relationship with somebody, and she wanted a lot of my time. She owned a business too, but wasn't as aggressive as I am. Doesn't want to take it where I'm taking it, etc. And was like, you need balance. You could use some time with me, etc. And I'm like, you know, I would love to love you, but I'm very, very like bullish on let me hustle 90%, and the 10%, you know, I can recharge, you know, 8% or so of that and sleep. You know, nah, that's probably wrong. I can sleep the other 10%, right? And recharge and whatever, mix that in somehow. Right, so I'm all about hustle your face off. You're going to sacrifice everything, and then 10% downtime, sleep, rest, recharge, etc. But here's where, here's what I'm really wanting to talk about, wanting to get across. To make it so that the 10% you could actually take a day off, or you can throughout the day take an hour and meditate, or you can take an hour or 3 hours and go hang out with friends, or go get a drink, or drive past the park and sit there and look at the water and become one with nature or whatever. The way that you can justify doing that, and the way that you can not feel guilty, because all entrepreneurs who are effective and take a lot of action feel very guilty when they're not taking a lot of action. It's just hard. It's a fear of mediocrity that stays with you forever. The way that you can not feel guilty is when you're focusing on your 90% and when you're sacrificing and when you're, you know, OCD hustling, you're obsessively, compulsively hustling with your disorder, OCHD, you focus on what matters, right? You have the ability to convert good intention, yeah, I want to make the business work, to a lot of daily action. Like, we know you want to do great. Everybody wants to do good, right? You don't want your business to fail. You know what I mean? You're not like just a jerk who goes, who cares, whatever. But know how to convert your good intention into things that really matter. That is an art. That's a skill. You gotta know how to do that. Like, what matters? Let's get it done. Let me get it done. And then so in the 90%, when you're sacrificing your face off and you're engaging crazily, you need to know to focus on things that actually move you forward, that don't simulate forward motion. And you have to be very brutally honest with yourself and know that distinction. Am I being effective? Am I being effective in what matters, you may want to ask. Because effective maybe you're effective in you know, sweeping or cleaning your office, you know, or in organizing paperwork. You know, it's like, be effective in what matters. And spend a lot of time thinking about that and doing that. Like, did you send the letter to the CEO today that you're trying to reach? You know, did you email the people that you're trying to reach today? You know, have you contacted them? Right? Have you engaged at some crazy level? Have you tried to go out there? And because here's the thing. people don't change. They don't like change. If you're trying to sell to big companies, they love the status quo. They don't like the change. It takes them 6 months to do anything, right? People don't like that. So what you have to do is you have to pound it down their throats. You have to be constantly at them. You have to constantly be engaging. It's like the world is not going to move out of your way or move in the direction you want it to move it in unless you hustle at a ridiculous level. Obsessive compulsive hustle disorder. You have to have it. It's a very friendly disorder. A very good thing that you should have to make a business work. Anyway, so that you can take the 10% and have a little bit of balance and maybe play with your sisters like a little kitten and hang out with your sister, or hang out with your family or your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, and do things to make sure you're happy and go, wait, I need my creative capacities again. I need to understand like how to start feeling good again. I need to activate that whole group of neurons that makes me feel good, and then cognitively know when to go, oh, I need to try to feel good right now because it's going to help my productivity. You know, all that stuff. Re-engaging right brain, activating brain cells, going, oh, right, that's right, that's right, that's right. This mode of living, I need to get there because I learned this one time. But then I got so engaged in left brain or engaging stuff that I forgot. You need the time to reignite those things that you forgot to help you have balance at some level. And the way that you don't feel guilty doing that is by kicking ass and getting tweeted up again when you're doing the 90%. Okay, so that's the major point. I hope you get that, that I'm trying to convey. Of course you get it, but get it, really. Also, what I think is very important, that I don't hear, I've never heard anyone say this, is that during the 10% of renewal, and like if you're a meditator, because you understand how powerful that is for cognitive regulation and verbal fluency, among other things, and you do other things, other things that have to do with renewal, and you sleep well and you eat well, during that time, being good at, because the 90% when you're engaging your face off is going to be very, very taxing on your body and brain. And so in the renewal phase, if you're good at renewal, if you don't just like, you can't renew necessarily just by not doing anything or by hanging out with friends. Like you got to take the right precautions to renew and to recharge so your 90% is maximizing your energy and maximizing your brain capacity. Eat right, meditate, clear your brain. Run a couple miles every other day. Lift some weights, right? Do some thinking on something completely different that isn't engaging in business, but is, kind of engaging your brain that helps you learn, right? Read a book about brain science. I read books about brain science, right? Just try to understand things. Think about things differently. Go crazy in your brain about new creative stuff. Whatever it is, know how to maximize your 90% in your engagement and your hustle, because when you're recharging, you're doing the right things. You're sleeping a lot. You sleep a lot, right? You're taking the necessary breaks throughout the day. You're meditating, right? Like you're exercising, you're doing all that stuff. So it's like, yeah, you're not going to have balance. It will be total sacrifice. But when you get to chill a little bit, make sure you're doing the right thing so that you can go and actually have the energy to put the 90% in. And when you go to take your chill time and relax in a little bit, make sure that the 90% is massively focused on what freaking matters and being effective in what matters, so you don't feel guilty about taking the 10% to recharge. And be good at recharging. That's the point. Hope you loved it. Please share it. What are we going to call the show? I love you.